Hi everyone, my name is Matthew Griffin, better known as the Fanatical Futurist. I'm the founder and CEO of the 311 Institute, the World Futures Forum, and Exponential University. And it's my honor and privilege to be joining you all in the next couple of weeks at Go Beyond Aviva, where we're going to be having conversations about all things the future. Now, as a futurist, I look at the next 50 years. I look at over 450 exponential technologies. I cover hundreds of megatrends and try to determine their future impact on every sector and every geography. Now, I'm going to be talking about a lot more than I'm going to be covering in this little teaser video. That's it. However, when we start having a look at the future of the power industry, everything is changing. And on the one hand, there's a huge amount of opportunity. But on the other hand, as for any of you that were up at ADIPEC, where I was keynoting, hello, you'll know that it's freaking the industry out like crazy. So when we have a look at the future of power, there are so many new innovations coming through, it's absolutely crazy. This chart doesn't even do it justice. So we have ammonia production that we need to triple if we want to transition the maritime fleet to ammonia, which is actually a thing that Hapag-Lloyd as well as Maersk are trying to do. We have new batteries, but we don't just have lithium-ion batteries in your car. We have structural batteries where your car is the battery, polymer batteries that charge in seconds. We have quantum batteries that weirdly do no longer run out of charge, but the bigger a quantum battery is, the faster it charges. Get that one. Now, we also have new biofuels, genetically engineered biofuels. We have grey, blue and green hydrogen. When we have a look at green hydrogen, it's still about 4 to 5 times the price of blue hydrogen, but those prices are coming down. Then we have nuclear. We have mini nuclear reactors that you can fit on the back of a lorry. Now, if that doesn't freak you out, I don't know what will, from companies like Rolls-Royce. We also have renewables basically coming through. So last year, over 250 gigawatts of new renewable energy capacity was brought online, and about, no surprise, about 80% of that was wind and solar. But when we have a look at solar, for example, we can now produce solar panels that are 48% energy efficient. We have a path to creating solar panels that are 132% energy efficient. And before you call me stupid, I did actually get that right. So you can quiz me about that one, basically when I'm actually on the stage. Maybe when I'm not talking though, I don't know, maybe when I've stopped, which I never stop, so you'll have a hard time. Now, we also have solar fuels. Now, we know basically that Europe is now investing very, very heavily in solar fuels. This is where we use artificial photosynthesis to create fuels like diesel. So fuels that we would traditionally get from traditional oil and gas installations and refineries and everything else. And then we have wireless power as well. We also have fusion. We've been making some progress on fusion and all kinds of other things. So it's a very, very busy time. And as the world transitions or tries to transition to net zero, it's estimated it's going to cost $92 trillion for the world to transition its global energy portfolio from where we are today to where we need to be tomorrow. Now, in addition to this, as of 2035, any of those of you who are from America, China, and the good old UK will maybe know that all of those countries are now investing in 3D printing and 4D printing power stations in space. It is actually a thing. It's been tested by the US military. So by 2025, we want to be able to get to the point where we can build solar power stations in space that beam 6 gigawatts of electricity down to Earth using microwave or laser technology. Now, in the case of Texas, this kind of technology means that as the Texas electricity grid went offline the other year, we just repurpose, retask the satellite, and all of a sudden the Texas grid is firing up again. So we have some quite amazing things coming through as well that make science fiction look a little bit tame. Now, we also have fully autonomous operations. Now, what I mean by that is we actually have electricity companies that are now already fully autonomous, particularly as we look at peer-to-peer and aggregated energy technologies and constructs. We have fully autonomous energy grids in the Netherlands, courtesy of organizations like Drive, basically with Centrica. Now, autonomous energy grids typically take energy and electricity from other sources, whether it's renewable, nuclear, usual kind of suspects, and then AI automatically balances the grid, for example, in some cases for electric vehicles and so on and so forth. So we have autonomous grids already coming through. And let me tell you, that's giving the regulators kittens. They really don't know what to do with those. In addition to that, basically we have energy islands because we have a huge amount of offshore wind capability. We also have deep shore wind coming online courtesy of organisations like General Electric. So in the UK, as well as the Netherlands, as well as Europe, we're increasingly building energy islands where we bring all of these energy sources together into one connector. And then that connector then supplies the local energy grid and so on and so forth. We're also starting to see the emergence of supergrids. Supergrids have been talked about for decades. But when we look at the ultra high voltage lines, particularly out of China, so Asia, we're seeing a huge amount of investment there as well. Now, the principle of a supergrid is that we can generate electricity in the Gobi Desert, and then you flick a light switch in Orlando, maybe in your hotel room, and it's powering that. That's it. But in order to do that, we need to connect relatively disparate supergrids together. And then when we look at smart assets, this is where we can talk about tokenization. So tokenization is really a sort of technology trend, and it's a bit of a financial services trend among others. This is where we talk about tokenization in terms of non-fungible tokens. We talk about it in the construct of Web 3.0, metaverse, and all those sorts of things. It's a combination of different technologies. But when we actually have a look at tokenization, increasingly within the power industry, what we're able to do is we're able to take assets and we're able to monetize them and unlock value in new ways. So for example, we can actually create a fractional ownership model for an electricity grid where I could own 1/1,000,000th of your electricity grid and I get profits from that and dividends and yields. However, from a power perspective, you can unlock new capital without having to go to the banks, and so on and so forth. So when we actually have a look at the amount of money needed to transition from where we are today to where we need to be tomorrow, tokenization is just one thing that we can actually use to help improve organizational liquidity as well as capitalization. And then we have obviously predictive maintenance, which I know you know everything about, so I'm not going to bore you with that one. And we have virtual power plants. Now, when we talk about virtual power plants, we talk about being able to plug your electric car into your house. So we now have vehicle to grid, courtesy of organizations like Ford. Now, increasingly, as we have peer-to-peer generation capabilities, we aggregate those together, we create a virtual power plant. Now, with a virtual power plant, we actually have states like California who have now fully invested in VPPs, both with Tesla, but also with other organizations. So, for example, is Tesla one of your customers? This is where we can think about new customers. Now, in California's case, they are fully investing in VPPs, which then means they can take at least 3 of their coal-fired power stations offline. And then again, we have the rise of tokens, tokenized trading, autonomous trading, which I know a lot of the European energy brokers basically are a little bit afraid of, has to be said, and all manner of other things. But as I say, this is just a teaser. The real stuff comes at the event. So I'm going to be trading my virtual stage, basically for the real stage, and I hope you'll join me. And if you have any questions, ask them at the right time, ask them appropriately, and I will look forward to answering you all. So take care, all the best, bye-bye.